Hi, welcome back to the series of functional safety sessions. I am Dr. Krishna Hema, your functional safety expert. So today we would like to deal with a topic called how to read ISO 26262 standard. So where to start? There is a lot of confusion which is with the standard because it has 12 different books and each and every book seems like very important, and where to start is so clueless. So when we start with vocabulary, we don't see, when we read all the definitions together, like we won't get the essence of it. And once we get into the real topic, like you feel confused about this term and that term, and that's how it is. So we need to crack it down. This is the icebreaker session for this ISO 26262. Here are the parts on in ISO 26262. There are 12 parts. Part 1 is vocabulary. Part 2 is management of functional safety. Part 3 is concept phase. Part 4 is system level product development. Part 5 is hardware level product development. Part 6 is software level product development. Part 7 is POSD, that is production operation services and decommissioning, which talks more about the manufacturing process. And part 8 is about system, means like support processes. And part 9 is SL oriented and safety oriented analysis. Part 10 is guidelines on ISO 26262. Part 11 is guidelines on application of ISO 26262 to semiconductors. Part 12 is about adaptation of ISO 26262 for motorcycles. As many of us are software engineers, so let us start with software engineer point of view first. So we need to start with part 2. Part 2 is functional safety management, which will give a glimpse about every of the part, and you will get to know the essence of it at the first itself. And then we need to move ahead with the concept phase. So here we will get to know the terminology of functional safety. So this is also an essential thing, but it is not so needed, you will feel, but you should have a look at this thing as well. And then we need to go ahead with the system level product development. So this system level product development is like to understand like at the system level how they look into the software. So something like this, you will have an idea when you go through that. What we need to concentrate more on part 6. Part 6 is the core for us. It is like software, being a software engineer. So we need to read line by line in part 6. And then we need to move ahead with part 8, supporting processes. So the part 8 supporting processes is like, goes hand in hand with part 6. So it is also very important, very essential for us to read. So the first core is part 6 for software engineer, and then the second core core part is like part 8, supporting processes. And then we need to move ahead with part 9, that is safety analysis, that is SL oriented and safety oriented analysis. So the next thing is about systems engineer. If you are a systems engineer, so here it is, like we need to start with part 2, that is management of functional safety, and then we need to move ahead with concept phase, and we need to move ahead with product development at system level, and then we need to go for part 8, that is supporting processes, and then we need to move ahead with SL oriented and safety oriented analysis. So as I said in the previous slide, like the management of functional safety part 2 will provide the glimpses of all the parts. You will understand more when you start with this thing. And then concept phase will give the introduction about the terms and all. Like, when you are reading directly to the vocabulary, then you won't be able to remember it. So remember the terms and definitions. So when you are going through the parts itself, like you will get to know, okay, this is a new term, my God, what is the definition? You go back and read it, then only you will get to know. So our core as a systems engineer, like our core part is part 4, and in complementary to it, like we should know the supporting processes as well, to know the calibration, configuration, or these kind of things, qualification activities. So these all things we will get to know when you read uh, this part 8. And then part 9 is like agile oriented analysis and safety oriented analysis, which is common across for every sort of engineer. Either you are a software engineer, either you are a systems engineer, either you are a hardware engineer, or you belongs to manufacturing also, you should have you should know part 9. The next thing is about for a hardware engineer. So for a hardware engineer, what we need to start with is functional safety management, that is part 2. And then we need to move ahead with part 3, that is concept phase. And then move ahead with the product development at system level, that is part 4. And we need to move ahead with part 5, that is product development at the hardware level. So being a hardware engineer, so our core part is part 5. So part 5 you need to have a thorough with, and part 8 is supporting processes, and part 9 is agile oriented and safety oriented analysis. This is the flow which we need to follow for a hardware engineer to understand the functional safety in detail. So these are all the important things for you to understand. So for a person who wants to be an expert with entire standard, is like, I am working for car industry or the automotive industry. So I am not working with motorcycles. Maybe I will be working with the qualification of semiconductor suppliers. Okay. Or, monitoring of semiconductors, or these kind of, things I do with the part 11. But I'm nowhere related to part 12. But anyhow, I supported to one of my clients, the motorcycle company. I think 2 I have supported in my career, but not with respect to the functional safety. And so our core means, like, if you are an automotive person, then you need to look for 1 to 10 parts. Okay, and as I said before, like, start with management of functional safety, and then concept phase means like part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, part 6, and then part 8, and then part 9. Okay, once after part 9, you go back to this part 7. So if you are familiar with the manufacturing processes, then you means like you can read 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 like that. So if you are not so well versed with the manufacturing processes and support services, maintenance, or these kind of things, then don't go there, because it's like you will feel like you lost somewhere. So that is the reason. So don't touch that part. Instead of it, like, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then come to 8, then 9, and then go back to 7, and you will get to know what you want to get an essence. And then what we need to do is, next you need to go through this guidelines on ISO 26262. When you are reading the clauses and subclauses inside your part, means like, for example, if I am concentrating on part 6, so we are at say example 5.3.2. Okay, when you read that 5.3 or so, something like that, the subclause and subclause kind of these things, like, you will get what to do, how to do these things, you will get in clause content itself. But if you want further more information, then you need to go to the annexures of it, annexures of that particular part. Annexures are very important to understand that part. If you skip it, then you will get the mastery when you perform this activity. That means when you get into the expertise of it, when you are on job, you will get it. But the thing is, it will take a lot of time when compared to if you read to the annexure parts. So all the best to you guys. If you like the concept, click on the like button. If you want furthermore automotive videos, subscribe to my channel. Also, I made Udemy courses, and you can find it in the description link. Thank you.